Okay. We are back here on the Lynn Hayes Freeland Show. Frank Walker, attorney Frank Walker, is my guest. We're talking about the coming together of black attorneys on Grant Street, and I say Grant Street, but obviously in this area. Give me an idea. I mean, how has what happened, the allegations against Judge Tranquilli, subsequently the letter you guys put together, the investigation that's going on, it's got to affect the mood. There's got to be a certain feeling around the courthouse these days as well.
Yeah, you know, it's funny. There are attorneys who are stopping us, who are in that group, you know, in the hallways. How do you guys feel? How do you guys feel? You know, what do you think should happen? How do you feel? And again, just like any other client, he is entitled to a full and fair representation, full and fair investigation, and innocence to proven guilty. So if the allegations are true, we want to make sure the process carries out the way it should be. That nothing's hidden under the rug, nothing's behind closed doors. We want an open and fair process.
And that's what you're asking
Yes.
for. That is what you're asking
Absolutely.
for. In spite of, I know there have been calls for him to be removed from the bench right
Absolutely.
away, but that's not how it works.
It's not how it works. I mean, there has to be a process. I mean, how would we look as if we go in and say, okay, this is bad, he needs to go immediately? That's not how things work. And we can't simultaneously go in the very next day in court and represent someone and say, and let someone else do that to them. We can't do that. He is entitled to a full and fair process.
So at the same time, I'm guessing that something like this happening at least begins a dialogue. Sometimes there are things that are right there, whether it involves this judge or someone else, they're right there, but nobody wants to talk about them.
Well, I mean, there is always a hesitation of people coming forward because you fear reprisal. You fear someone coming back saying, okay, you came forward against me, now I'm back, and I'm going to treat you a certain way.
Right.
But we don't feel that way. I don't feel that way. I always choose bravery over courage, and I can't let anyone else come in and say, dictate, oh, you're not going to come in this courtroom. What do you mean? I have a client, he or she has a case, we're coming here, we're looking for justice. That's it. That's the bottom line. I'm not going to let, and people who are with us, we are not going to let someone dictate how we practice. We're not going to let someone have us in fear of practicing every single day, because we have a livelihood and we have a constitution to uphold.
Now, we've already seen some fallout. We've seen Judge Cashman come forward and say that he's looking at some cases. Do we expect that there will be an onslaught of cases that people will be asking to have reevaluated, or I guess, is that the word, reevaluated?
Well, I don't know. We have
Okay.
a PCRA process, which stands for Post-Conviction Relief Act, where
Okay.
you were stating that, among other reasons, there was a breakdown in the due process of my rights, in my case, that caused my case not to have a full and fair opportunity to be heard judiciously and fairly. And I've gotten calls. Other attorneys have gotten calls. We're reviewing those cases, when and where to file them, and how to file them, and what evidence we need to put forward to make sure their claim, does it have merit or is it meritless? So do I expect more claims to come forward? Yes. Do I expect judges sua sponte to say, we're going to dismiss these cases? I don't think so. I don't think it's going to happen.
And from what I understand, the investigation process doesn't necessarily happen quickly.
It doesn't. It doesn't.
And a lot of it happens in private, from what I understand.
It does. It does. And that is the unfortunate part, but we have to continue to be vigilant. We have to continue to request that we are involved in the process, not just us as black attorneys, us as a community. I think the community has an understanding and a want and need to be involved in the process and understand what's going on. Too often we talk to clients and parents and people in the community, they don't have a slightest clue about what's going on in the judicial system, but they know and understand and have concluded that it is unfair. Something in them tells them it's unfair, and that needs to change. I don't know if it needs to be more community relations. There needs to be more talk in the community about what we do in the community, what we do in the courthouse, how it happens, and the procedure by which it happens. There needs to be an education there.
Absolutely. Well, I do know this in terms of the community at large. And there's, you know, since this whole thing has unraveled, there's been all these conversations. We've heard from different community groups making calls. But I think when the black attorneys came forward, I think there was a sense from the black community that there was a sense of, yes, that's what we needed, that's what we wanted, because these are the people that are in that battle every day.
Yes, understand that was not the goal, but we understand that is how it looks and that is how it appears. But you're right, there are a lot of attorneys all in this group, excellent minds, more experience than I have, been around longer than I have, been in different courts, and they do different practices, and we all came together, but we understood this is what needs to happen, this is what needs to be said, and it needs to be said by us.
Indeed. Indeed. So many folks in the community are applauding that, and that's why I wanted you to be here today, so folks could hear from you representing the group indeed. So we thank you for that. We appreciate it.
And I
indeed.
appreciate it.
And in fact, it's not over. We don't know when it'll be over, so we'll just have to stay on top of it. We may have to get you back.
It's not over. I'll bring some friends.
There you go. All right. Thanks so much for that. We appreciate it.
Thank you.
Don't forget, all of this is online, kdka.com/LHF show. And those notebooks, support that young lady. Buy those notebooks. This is important. All of this is important. And, of course, don't forget, Monday through Friday, 12 to 3, you can check me out, KDKA Radio. And we're streaming live now, so you can check that out as well. We'll see you next week. Have a great week.